That's why I took them into the rooms.
How did you
Wasn't a public forum.
How did you assess the performance, Brad? Obviously, good first half, but seemed to run out of legs a little bit in the second half.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we kept Essendon at their lowest halftime score in 100 years, so that clearly was a good part of the game for us, and I think it's a real challenge for us in our progression as a football club that that we don't just mentally, even subconsciously think, oh, well, this game's in hand now, so I don't need to do the things that got us into this position in the first place. So it's probably a win that felt like a loss. We would have loved to have run the game out really strongly in the second half, but clearly we didn't do that. So when you're undefeated, you think as a coach there's a wake-up call coming at some point, and I think it's fantastic for us that clearly we got that wake-up call in the second half today, but we still put a W in the win-loss column.
What do you put that down to, that, as you say, sort of that putting the cue in the rack style thing at half time? Too much confidence?
Yeah, I think there's a few things. Some within our control, but also, I mean, you look, Geelong took 3.5 quarters to beat Essendon, the MCG. Sydney were a goal down halfway through the second quarter at the SCG last week against Essendon. So it's a bit disrespectful to suggest it was all about us. I think they lifted around the ball. They really got on top in the contest, and they played with flair and run, and we didn't defend that very well. So we'll address those things, but I don't think it was 100% to do with us. I mean, we didn't bring good enough effort to the table in the second half, but I thought they lifted theirs.
How's Mason Wood? How's Mason?
I'm not sure, and just for the record, I'm not going to comment on injuries anymore at post-game press conferences. I get them wrong all the time. So we all saw what happened, so he'll be assessed over the next few days.
You had a very tall forward line, Brad, and worked really well at times, but was that a factor in, do you think, in the second half, a bit of a lack of run?
Yeah, I think it probably did have an influence. I mean, Mason is an exceptional runner himself, so that probably hurt us a little bit too. But we got a chance to have a look at a few different things today in terms of forward structures and setups, and potentially I made it hard for some of our key forwards today because they were playing a slightly different role. But we've got to continue to evolve. We can't just keep playing the same way, and our challenges are going to get greater as the season goes on. So in any season, you're going to lose players. You're going to have players out of form. You need to be able to adapt. And today, I thought in the first half we adapted well. Did it have an impact in the second half? Well, it was probably part of the puzzle.
Do you think you found that best balance in the forward line, or have you still been searching for it?
It's pretty good. It's been pretty good most of the year. But history tells you that you don't necessarily have. You need more than 22 players across the course of a season. So we need to make sure that if we lose anyone or their form drops, that we can replace them really quickly. So, we were a bit top heavy today, but we were comfortable with that. We were comfortable that the players we brought in could pressure well enough, but probably, at ground level, we're a bit underrepresented there today.
A couple of guys who've come to the side who have a lot of footy, Matt Jack and also Brad McKenzie. How do you think they both went today?
Yeah, I think Brad looked really solid in defence. Used the ball really well as he always does. I thought Madge, particularly in the first half, gave us a very different look in the ruck. You can see he's very hard to match up on forward. But we probably saw last week with Aaron Mullett, Mason Wood coming into the side, the gap between VFL and AFL, it's a significant gulf, and that's why we wanted to bring a few more players into the team this week to expose them to the higher level. So we probably walk away disappointed with the way we played in the second half, but in terms of what we set out to achieve at the start of the game, we did that.
You mentioned 6 days of election yesterday, Thursday, when you were talking about Michael Frito and the guys who took their low. Do you reckon that had part of it? Was that a player in the played out the second half?
No, I mean, the players that we had, you still feel 22, and the players we had out there are experienced enough to be able to run that out. So, no, I mean, Spud needs to be managed at various times through the season. So we thought this was, 4 games in a row at Etihad on a really hard surface, consecutive 6-day breaks. This was the time to get him ready for the second half of the year. So, you know, that's a good result for him and good result for us.
Can I just take you back to halftime for a second? I mean, did you see any signs? Did you see it was a false scoreline or see any signs of it being reversed at all in the second half?
No, not at all. It was pretty dominant, I thought. You know, but look, defensively, it's an interesting situation when you're in front. You know, the opposition have got two choices. They can either try and take it up to you, or they can just go ultra defensive. You know, Essendon decided to try and take it up to us, and that's to their credit. You know, I thought they did it really well, and we just didn't control the game as we did in the first half. You know, if we we'll learn some things out of it. But again, I'll cite the Geelong and Sydney examples. It's disrespectful to suggest it was all us.
Is it worrying though that, as you said, when they decided to take it up to you, there wasn't a lot of time for them to really prepare for us?
Well, I mean, the game never got within, you know, 3 goals. So subconsciously, that's hard for players, because even to the players' admission, you know, they always felt in control. You know, I said to a few of them, well, don't ever coach then, because you always feel out of control. You know? And I know the feeling, you know, as a player, when you think, oh, we've got this game, you know, within our grasp, then, you know, it takes a really disciplined, ruthless team to be able to keep the foot, you know, to the throttle. So, yeah, we'll have to, you know, as I said, I think this is going to be a wake-up call for us, and it's good to get a wake-up call after a win.
Are you expecting Brad to get Daniel Wells and Sam Wright back next week?
I think so. Yeah, I think Wellesley should be right, but again, he's got to be 100%. You know, we've learnt with Wellesley in the past that you know, he's a really important part of our team, and we just can't take risks with him. So he needs to be protected from himself a little bit. And Righty, depends how he pulls up. He's still a little bit sore even this week. I thought he was close last week, but sometimes these ankles can just stagnate and hit a point. So we won't rush him back until he's absolutely right. And if he doesn't do the main session, there's no point playing him. Yeah, it's a story of it's dangerous, the match review panel making decisions based on the impact to the player. You know, the VFL player got a 2-week suspension based on, you know, Hansen appeared to be okay. Well, he's regressed. They can't go back and look at the decision to give the player 2 weeks for what was, you know, a pretty crude act. So, yeah, we're really disappointed about that. You know, really disappointed about losing Lockie, because he would have played today. You know, he's coming right back into form. He's been in pretty good form all year, really. But yeah, we hope he'll be right next week, but we can't be sure.
You talk after the incident with Mason that potentially players that are not completely unconscious like he was should be rested the following week, even if they do pass the concussion test. Do you have a particular view on that?
No, I just hand it over to the experts. And if people do have a view on it, then they want to be experts.